Hey folks, and welcome to Drinking Alone with Friends, a podcast where three friends drink alone together. My name's Chris.
What up? It's Tud.
And I'm Obert.
And welcome to Oktoberfestapalooza! Woo!
As evidenced by the tuba music that just played you in with the accordions and all that stuff.
Yeah, fun.
I played that,
stuff.
just fun fact.
Yeah, you've seen those one-man bands in the park. That's Tud right now. He's taking off the drum and the little cymbal and the foot pedal thing. He's putting that all away. Okay, yep. He looks like he's done. Okay.
I'm still wearing my lederhosen, though.
Yeah. For Oktoberfestapalooza.
Of course.
We're a little late to the party, guys, but we're here.
Yeah, but we did make it before the party ends, so that's
true.
We may have missed it by a week.
The party started now that we're finally here.
That is true, yeah. The folks in Germany, they were kind of like going along with the ride, I can't wait till they get here, and now we're here.
Something's missing. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but there's not enough friends to drink alone with.
Exactly, yeah. Man, normally this is a lot of fun. This is kind of lame.
Yeah.
But now...
Yeah, but now that we're here, now it's time to break all the steins and scream Prost everywhere we go.
There you go. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that we're the official podcast of Oktoberfest.
I think that's true. Yeah, I heard that somewhere. I think Ted told me that, actually.
Some podcast said it, so it must be true. So
yeah. I heard it on a hit podcast. It's fine.
DAWF, the only official podcast of Oktoberfest.
Palooza.
Palooza. Not affiliated with Oktoberfest.
It's going to be crazy if this thing actually takes off in 5 years from now, we actually do an Oktoberfestapalooza.
I think we should say that Oktoberfestapalooza starts the day after Oktoberfest ends.
There you go.
So we're like the post with after party.
Well, we don't want to be confused with Oktoberfest, so we have to wait till that's over.
Right. We don't want any of that negative attention.
Yeah.
No, wait, just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're doing a whole episode about this. What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know either. So why don't we just jump right into it? We all have Oktoberfest this week for Oktoberfestapalooza.
Yeah. Some of us went to great lengths. Some of us sent our wives to breweries to get it while we were watching football.
Yeah. So let me dive down this path here for a second before we start.
All right,
please.
So it is, it is Oktoberfest season. We agree with that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's in the air.
There are many breweries around where I live.
We know that. We even did a whole episode where you did a special tour and took us all around to all the best breweries where you live.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to, let's just say I went to, let's call it 7 breweries around me. I was shocked, and maybe you guys are too, that none of them had Oktoberfest beers on tap.
Wait, so wait, let me get this straight. You went to the 7 breweries just specifically to find an Oktoberfest beer?
Correct.
Wow. Okay. So you were searching.
I was searching. So I went to 7 of those breweries. Then we went to Maine this weekend for a wedding. And in order to get to Maine from Connecticut, you have to drive through Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and then obviously most of Maine because we were going to Booth Bay Harbor, sorry. We stopped at many breweries along the path there too.
That must have been tough work.
I know.
It
sounds terrible.
I was doing yeoman's work.
But you knew, when you couldn't find on these 7, you're like, don't worry, I'm going to Maine.
Right. I'm going to pass many breweries on the way there. So we hit up 5 breweries throughout our travels in Maine this weekend. Not one of them had Oktoberfest on tap either.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yes. So then on our drive back from Maine today, we stopped at a few liquor stores in New Hampshire, and none of them had Oktoberfest beers either.
Well, liquor stores don't sell beer in New Hampshire, right?
I don't know. Do they not?
No. They only sell liquor at the state liquor stores, and you got to go buy beer not in liquor stores.
Oh, all right. Well, that's interesting. So that would explain that.
Also, the absence of beer.
Also, Hannaford's in Bar Harbor and Booth Bay Harbor, Maine, did not have Oktoberfest beer either.
What is going on?
Yeah,
I know, right?
It took me all the way to Yankee Spirits in Sturbridge, Massachusetts, to find the beer that I'm drinking on today's podcast.
That is quite the journey, and we appreciate all the work you did. Unlike me, who couldn't get it done on episode 40, you took it to completion, drove through multiple states to get your Oktoberfest. So without further ado, what do you got for us, Ted?
So, at the culmination of my journey, I picked up the beer called Copper Legend by Jack's Abbey. It is their Oktoberfest beer. It's got an OG 13.5 Plato, 22 IBUs, and 5.7 ABV. I believe that this is the first time we've ever drank a Jack's Abbey on this podcast.
I think that is correct.
Yeah.
So Jack's Abbey is a brewery out of Mass, and they only do lagers. They don't do anything outside of lagers. They do hoppy lagers, they do normal lagers, they do basically every style of beer, but all in lager form, if that makes any sense.
They make some India Pale lagers.
Yes.
Mm.
IPLs and just everything they do is they're world renowned for lagers. So I decided to bring this to the podcast, and as you can see, very much looks like a Oktoberfest type beer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it fits that Copperfest description.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So without further ado, let's check it out.
Yeah, I'm curious to see like what the difference is going to be amongst the 3 Oktoberfests.
That's really good. It's obviously it's going to be your standard Oktoberfest, so it's going to be malty with a little bit of hints of. I think it tastes like chocolate, but
It's got those dark malts.
yes, the very smooth, sultry voice of dark malt. No, it's good. It's a solid beer. I've had Spaten Oktoberfest and other Oktoberfests in the past, and obviously those are from Germany. So this one is from the U.S. It's actually really good. I like this one better than the Sam Adams one, which is probably the most common one that people will find anywhere. But yeah, overall probably 3.75. Prost.
Nice.
That's
boys.
pretty good. Yeah, Prost.
Yeah, that is pretty good. So if you could pinpoint something that will separate that from your Oktoberfest, the Sam Adams Oktoberfest, sorry, like what would be your biggest takeaway?
It tastes fresher, I guess if that's a term.
That's fair.
It tastes like it. Obviously, it's all locally sourced ingredients. I mean, they put that right on the can. It's also unfiltered and unpasteurized, so it's probably a little bit more grainier than the Sam Adams one that you would buy out of the bottle. So it's just a little different and tastes a little bit newer.
Okay.
I guess if that's a statement. And obviously,
Similar sweetness levels.
it's a little bit less sweet, a little bit more dry. I would say I think the benefit of this one is that you can tell on the bottom of the can, it was canned on September 1st, 2019. I am sure that Sam Adams has had Oktoberfest out for longer than that. So the Oktoberfest that you're buying on the shelf from Sam Adams is probably from mid-August, if not July.
I remember the earliest I've ever seen Sam Adams Oktoberfest. My sister got married on August 7th, 2015, and on August 6th, 2015, I saw it in the stores.
Yeah.
So that's pretty early.
So by the time Oktoberfest actually rolls around, I mean, you're drinking 3-month-old Oktoberfest, which it's a
and then when
lager,
you get to
there's nothing wrong with that.
Oktoberfestapalooza, it's even older.
Yes, exactly.
It's even older. Oh, man. So do you want to take a guess as to what the Untapped universe thinks of your Copper Legend?
Sure. People tend to like Oktoberfest, so I'm going to say 3.87.
So here I'm seeing that it's actually a 3.64. So little lower.
on the scale. Yeah.
Well, that's a little bit upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't really found too many Jack's Abbey beers that I really enjoy. I think it's fair to say that all 3 of us are ale people more than lager people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even though they are great at lagers, that's not my go-to. So I haven't really come across too many of their beers that I'm in love with.
See, and I always kind of I think their beers are good every time I've had them. I don't go out of my way to order them when I see them on Tapped, or if I'm buying something from the package store. I won't really buy them to bring them home. But the ones that I've had at Beer Fest and stuff like that have all been good. And it just, overall, I'd love to go see the brewery because it just seems like a really interesting idea that they just don't make anything other than lagers.
Yeah, I would like to check that place out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if if the brewery is set up completely different than what you would normally see, but
I'm sure they probably have a lot of lagering
right
area.
Tanks.
Yeah, lagering tanks.
Jack's Abbey, reach out.
Yeah.
Fly us out to your brewery or wherever it is. And
We'll graciously accept a
Exactly.
private tour. Yeah.
So I will say that it's in Framingham, Mass.
Right.
So it's a hop, skip, and a jump from my house.
Well, fly me and Obert out.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Mind if I jump in and take on our next Oktoberfest beer?
Of
No,
course.
yeah, go ahead.
Because I have a special treat today. I mean, I guess I feel like every beer I have is a special treat. But this is the last brewery in Missoula that I have yet to go to. There's probably 10 that I've been to 8 or 9 of them, and I think this is the only one I haven't been to.
Nice.
This is Bayern's Oktoberfest beer, and there's a reason I bring these guys on today, and that's because they are a traditional German brewery, and actually I think Bayern is the traditional name for Bavaria. I think in German that's how you say Bavaria. So
now let's pretend our listeners don't know what Bavaria is.
Known for their donuts.
I don't get it.
Bavarian cream donut.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Yeah.
Are they known for their donuts or their cream?
That's a good point. I don't know. You can get the donuts anywhere, but the cream you have to get from Bavaria.
No. So these guys were founded in 1987, and they follow the traditional Reinheitsgebot German purity law.
Mm-hmm.
And the head brewer Jürgen Noller is the owner and master brewer. So he's a German dude.
I was about to say, he sounds authentic.
Yeah.
He sounds German.
So I'm not sure if they only brew lagers like Jack's Abbey does, but I do know that they make a lot of Bocks and other German styles here. Let's see, I have their page up here. They have a Doppelbock, a Doppelweizen, a couple lagers, a Dark Hef. So yeah, they have a Pilsner.
A Dark Hef would be delicious.
Yeah, maybe I will have to bring that. It's called Dragon's Breath. Maybe I'll find that one for the show.
It's a pretty badass name.
Yeah, solid name.
And so, as we'll get into once we teach you a little bit more about Oktoberfests, but Oktoberfest is actually not the name of a style. This is a Marzen style, a dark Marzen style.
Now, they're mostly all Marzens, right?
Yeah, and we'll get into that. Thank you for the little sneak peek ahead. But it looks and sounds like yours is a copper ale or something. Doesn't seem like it's a Marzen.
It doesn't say exactly what it is. It just says Copper Legend. So
yeah, but I mean, like, I'm gonna hold mine up to the webcam, and mine, for anybody who's seen your typical Marzen style
way dark,
or a Sam Adams Oktoberfest, yeah, it's just that it's a very much a dark caramelly color, and they use a lot of those caramel flavored malts to really get that essence in. I definitely get that sweet, like you said, almost chocolatey caramelly aroma on the nose.
Right.
And as I drink it, it's got that crisp, filtered taste of a normal Oktoberfest, Marzen style, and finishes really clean on your palate. Will let you keep drinking these Stein after Stein, for sure.
Now, going back to what I was saying, Bavaria is a free state within...
Oh, I'm sorry, Todd. You asked a question, and I rudely didn't answer it. I was so focused on my beer.
That's
about
okay.
What Bavaria is. We got distracted by the cream.
I took it upon myself to do my own research.
Thank you.
It is a landlocked federal state of Germany, occupying its southeastern corner. And it's, what did you say the name of the brewery was?
Bayern.
Yep. So Bayern.
Correct. Yeah.
That is how the Germans say Bavaria.
Yeah. Huh. And that's where a traditional Oktoberfest is held. It's kind of like a ancestral home of lagering beers in Bavaria.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So the Lederhosen comes from there too.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. And you know what? I wanted to say this on the intro, but I went to Oktoberfest in Whitefish here this weekend. It was a lot of fun. I think it made the Insta.
Yep, I saw a few snaps. Yeah.
Yeah, and traditional German polka music, the Lederhosen, the special dresses they wear that have a name. I had to get a Stein and everything. And
was there yodeling competitions?
There was log sawing competitions, and of course the Stein hoisting competitions.
That is a must.
Yeah. They had men's and women's division, and they did it 6 at a time. So we just kind of made joke bets on who we thought was going to win. And it's funny. They actually, quick tangent here. The guy who was rule keeper and official Stein hoisting host, he competes internationally, and he got 6th place in New York City last year at like the international official legit world championship
of Stein
hoisting.
Wow.
And so I just randomly, what do you think his real life profession is?
Glassblower.
Grizzly bear hunter.
Yeah, he's he does drywall for a living. So all day he holds up the whatever spackle or whatever. So his arm is always out all day. So this is his,
that's his jam.
directive in life. Yeah. And talking to him, he said, it's not about how strong you are. It doesn't matter how strong you are. It matters how much pain you can endure. So after that, I was picking like the moms who went through, I'm like, okay, she's been through a tough labor. I bet you she's going to out hoist all these young girls on the stage. So, and that seemed to work pretty well.
Did you participate?
I did not. I hadn't been doing my drywall and my reps at home. I didn't want to go on the stage and embarrass myself, but it was a lot of fun to watch for sure.
What was the winning time?
6 minutes. So it was like 6 minutes and 10 seconds, something like that. So
that's quite a bit of Stein holding.
Most of them
I don't know if I
went
can
like
just hold
2 or 3 minutes. Yeah.
I don't know if I can hold out like my hand without a mug in it for 6 minutes, let alone with a mug in it.
Full of beer.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, we're starting the timer now.
Okay.
What you got to do, just get wear long sleeves, have like a little straw that goes down your sleeve and like into the mug, and they can barely see it. And then
you start drinking the beer?
Drink a little bit.
I thought you were going to say just put like a metal rod. That would probably help too.
No. That's cheating.
But drinking the beer isn't?
No.
That's allowed.
You're still holding it just differently.
Just in your body.
Update, we're 30 seconds into this, and my arm is starting to get tired.
Okay. Well, only 5.5 minutes to go, Ted.
There you go. And you would have won the Oktoberfest.
Ooh, starting to burn a little bit.
While Ted is doing his thing, I'm going to give this beer also a 3.75, which is, I think, what Ted gave his.
Yep.
Yeah.
For Marzen style lagers, this pretty much hits the spot. I like it. I'm a big fan. It doesn't quite reach that 4.0 territory, but looks like I'm enjoying this a lot more than Ted is enjoying holding his arm out.
Now,
quick update: beads of sweat are appearing on his forehead.
let me ask you a question here. Can you move, like, as you're holding your arm out?
Yeah.
Can you move it up and down?
No.
A little bit.
No Statue of Liberty. You have to hold it straight out.
Forward,
and
right?
the guy,
I mean, it could be straight forward, but like, can I like lift it like 1 inch up and 1 inch down and 1 inch up, like, kind of like bounce it a little bit?
You're supposed to hold your arm dead steady.
Okay.
And I saw people who was like arms were shaking as they were struggling. But
this is difficult. Keep in mind, I'm also sitting down too, so I can imagine like standing there too, like that gets a little bit tiring.
Yeah, because you have to keep the other hand straight at your side. You can't use it to like go behind your back and like prop yourself forward.
Okay, we are 2 minutes in. This is a pain in the ass.
So while we're doing that, what do we got? So I said 3.75. I'm gonna guess the world at large rated this 3.86.
3.63. So
very similar to the copper.
What Ted said. Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah.
Copper. I keep wanting to call it Oktoberfest. I know that's
Copper Legend.
Copper Legend.
Copper Legend.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Albert, do you taste anything in that beer? Do you get chocolate like I usually?
Yeah. I was saying I got chocolatey and caramelly notes for sure in this Oktoberfest, and I think it comes from those black malts.
Update: we are 3 minutes in. I don't know if I can go 6 minutes.
Okay. Why don't we see if Chris can distract you with a beer review and maybe keep your
how
arm
about
up.
that? So, guys, I'm drinking an Oktoberfest today.
No way.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. Breaking the mold, Oh, hold on.
Don't strain your arm there, Chris.
Oh, man. This is... Whew.
Sorry.
It's like a workout.
There we go.
We're coming up on 4 minutes.
There we go. Woo! That was a beast.
I'm not going to make it to 6.
You can make it to 5.
I don't know.
What are we at, Ted?
We are just now approaching the 4 minute mark. In 1 second. 4 minutes has just passed.
Okay.
So I'm drinking something from my new friends down at Fourth Creek Brewing, which is here in Statesville. I've mentioned them on the podcast before, but I haven't had one of their beers yet, so I'm pretty excited to bring them to the podcast. I'm drinking their Balloon Fest Lager, which is, of course, a Marzen Marvin.
Marvin.
Which is, of course, a
Martian?
Marzen style. So, poured it into my glass here. Mine is very clear. Very, very clear.
Yours looks
Yeah.
even brighter than Tud's.
Yeah, definitely like clear. It's a little darker, I think, than Tud's does. At least it looks on the webcam. But
Yours looks a little pink over the webcam.
Yeah, it does have like a more
rosy hue,
copper-ish hue than yours does, which is
we are at 5 minutes, boys.
good for you.
Oh,
You can do it. But they named it after every year they have a hot air balloon fest in Statesville, and they named it their Balloon Fest Lager. So they were going to serve it during the festival, I assume, but I messaged them and I was like, hey, we're doing a special Oktoberfestapalooza. And they're like, wow, I've definitely heard of that. It's a really cool concept.
Holiday that's after Oktoberfest.
Right. It's like a more wild Oktoberfest. Definitely, that's the best thing. And they were able to get me a crowler of it a little ahead of time. So I'm pretty excited about that.
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So going to go ahead and give this thing a try. I haven't had this before, but I have a whole crowler. So, I know the guys at Fourth Creek do great work. So let's see how it goes.
So update while Chris is drinking his beer. We have passed the 6 minute mark.
I see your arm wavering a little bit here.
It is on fire.
Yeah, your arm is like way lower than I think it started.
Yeah.
It's still kind of like it's up. Oh. All right.
Todd
I've
is
now lowered
now
my
the new
arm.
champion
So update, I am now the champion.
Yeah.
of arm holding without Stein.
I don't know how
So
they
this
could do
is-
6 minutes with a Stein.
Yeah, no, that probably not. So this is like really good. I get a lot of kind of like what you guys are saying. A lot of some like dark caramel, sweet notes, things of that nature. I don't get a ton of chocolate in mine, but one thing that I've noticed with some Oktoberfests is there's like a weird aftertaste with some of them.
I get like almost like Tud's beer is like a copper name. It almost tastes like you're sucking on a penny sometimes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't get that with this.
Yeah, I don't get it with mine either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a really, really good job with that, because normally I'm not the biggest fan of Oktoberfests, but this is a really, really solid one. So the guys down at Fourth Creek did a good job. Pretty excited about that. I'm gonna say like crisp, clean, 6.5%. Can't really, I could drink this whole crowler right now.
In fact, you're going to.
But yeah, right. I'm gonna give this. I think I'm gonna jump aboard the 375 train. It's a really, really good Oktoberfest or Marzen, which we'll get into, like we were talking about. And I want to, give a shout out to Fourth Creek again. Thank you very much. They have some amazing, amazing stuff if you're ever in the area.
Are you going to go to the balloon festival?
We were talking about it. We might, because, I figure CJ might like seeing all the balloons and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
So, like, what exactly is a balloon festival?
Well,
Like,
when
is
you
that-
first said it, I assumed it was like, balloon animals.
And see, and I thought it was
99
hot air
balloons.
balloons.
Well, no, he
It is hotter.
said that. Yeah.
it's hot air balloons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I saw some pictures from last year's, and it's a ton of hot air balloons. I don't know exactly what they do per se. I assume just have hot air balloons fly around, but we might end up going. We'll see.
Are you going to drive or fly?
No, we're gonna traverse there.
Okay. You want to just show up?
Yeah,
Your own
yeah.
balloon?
Yeah, no, I can't do that. Friend, a co-host last week, Dan could fly his hot air balloon over
That
there.
is true. Dan, you have to start flying now. When is the festival?
Yeah, so this year's starts Friday, October 18th, and runs throughout the weekend.
So
I
Dan,
could
you
make
have
it
that.
if I left now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dan has plenty of time to get in his hot air balloon and start floating.
Yeah. Maybe I'll take my friend Dorothy and her dog. We'll head over there.
There you go.
Just don't forget the ruby slippers.
That's right. So with that, why don't we get into what Oktoberfest is, what it means, what an Oktoberfest beer is?
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Oktoberfest beers, as we talked about here, are generally thought of as a Marzen. That's when you order a Sam Adams Oktoberfest or any typical Oktoberfest, normally you get a Marzen.
Yes.
And that's actually the German word for March. And that's when the beers were brewed, because traditionally, well, I should say that was when they traditionally were brewed, because it was too hot in the summer and you would end up with all of these off bacterial growths. And as you guys know, it has to be a certain temperature to brew beer, especially a lager. You need to keep it colder.
Right.
So that's where the name Marzen comes from. And Marzens were the old Oktoberfest beers back historically, before like the 19th century. But interestingly enough, and I have an article here from allaboutbeer.com about the Oktoberfest style, it says that 1872 was the introduction of the Marzen, and that was used at the Schattenhamel banquet tent in 1867 for Oktoberfest. Nope, sorry, that was when the tent was built. That's before 1872. But so that was at the Oktoberfest in the 1870s. That was when they introduced this Marzen style that kind of became synonymous in America with Oktoberfest. But most Oktoberfest beers in Germany, in Munich now, are no longer brewed with the Marzen style. They're more of a lighter style beer.
So kind of like this Copper Legend.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. It says here that Marzen is almost always offered as a seasonal beer, but there's usually more like a Sprecher Amber or like a Boston Lager are more lager beer styles that are common at Oktoberfest. Yeah.
So to tack onto that, going a little bit further back before that tent even, I'm reading that there's some, origins of the Marzen beer date all the way back to the 16th century in Bavaria. And from
Bayern.
What's that? Yeah, Bayern. Right, exactly. And the reason that they were brewed in March and they were made with slightly higher alcohol content and hops is so they would last, because like you were saying, you can't brew in the summer. And actually, there was a Bavarian brewing ordinance that said beer could only be brewed between the September 29th and April 23rd. So they would brew it and then, cask it and whatever, and then hold it until...
Store it all summer.
Right, exactly. So even...
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, even more so. And this one says dark brown, full-bodied, and bitter, which clearly none of us really said that. So that's when it started to transform into what we're drinking now, throughout hundreds of years.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So basically it was a way of killing, it sounds like Oktoberfest was kind of founded as a way of killing off the last year's beer supply too, because Oktoberfest is at the end of September, so you could start to brew again.
Huh.
I guess that makes sense too.
Yeah.
I kind of thought it would be like a celebration of the return of brewing season, but yeah, what you're saying makes sense. Maybe it was you were rationing your beer all summer long, and now you're like, okay, we can finally splurge.
Now we can party.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really cool stuff.
Having said that, allow me to tell you a little bit about the festival itself. Oktoberfest is the world's largest Volksfest, which is basically a beer festival and a traveling fun fair. It is held annually in Munich, Bavaria, Germany, and it is between 16 to 18 days, depending on the year. And it runs from mid or late September to the first Sunday in October.
Huh.
Now, it traditionally was always 16 days long up until the reunification of Germany. So the reunification of Germany is October 3rd. So if for whatever reason,
AKA the day this podcast comes out.
Exactly. Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There we go. If that day, which it will not be this year, if the first Sunday of October happens to fall on the 1st or the 2nd, Oktoberfest will continue until the 3rd, because they'll just treat it as their normal Unification Day party as well.
Okay. Makes sense.
The Oktoberfest has been around since 1810, and every year 7.7 million liters or 66,000 U.S. barrels of beer are served and drank during the course of Oktoberfest.
Holy crap.
So as you can tell, it's a big drinking festival. Obviously, it's a huge beer fest.
Right. I feel like we missed the boat. I believe Jenna has gone to Oktoberfest. I think she has mentioned that before. Should have had her on.
It's on my drinking bucket list.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Well, now that
it's definitely something I'm going to do.
We're the official podcast of Oktoberfestapalooza. And
right.
So I think the one last history lesson I'll tell about this is that the reason that this was the reason Oktoberfest even existed in the first place is that King Ludwig I, who reigned in the early 1800s in Germany, he married the Princess Therese of Saxe-Hildburghausen on October 12th, 1810. Notice the similarity in dates?
Yeah, that's you're the first Oktoberfest, right?
Right. So their Oktoberfest was actually their wedding party that proceeded to go on for 16 days.
Nice.
That's a pretty sweet party.
And so ever since then, they just continued.
Well, that's awesome.
I mean, yeah, that's going to be a pretty epic party if they're celebrating their anniversary every year. Still, 200-something years later.
Yeah, so it's pretty nuts. And there's actually, the Teresa or Teresi, the princess that he married, the fields around the town were named Teresi Weiss, which means Teresa's Meadow, in honor of the crown princess, and have kept the name ever since, although locals have since abbreviated the name simply as Weizen, which is where you get the Weizen style of beer.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
Who would have
thought
that?
It all goes back.
Who would have thought that Germany had so much beer history?
I know, right?
You hear about this one little party called Oktoberfest, and lo and behold.
Yeah.
It holds no candle to Oktoberfestapalooza.
No, obviously.
We're going to start our own, maybe somebody needs to get married, and we can have a big party for Oktoberfestapalooza.
Yeah. I mean, you're the only one left, so.
That's true. Yeah.
So you have to get married around October. That's the week.
October 4th.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you definitely have to get married after October 3rd.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, we'll put these links in the show notes.
Yeah.
If you want to read more about what an Oktoberfest beer is, about why the party exists, all that stuff. But I want to go. I'm going to go some year.
Yeah.
For sure.
We should probably make it a podcast goal.
Yeah, that would be.
To all go and do a live recording.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
I think our first goal is, we talked about earlier, the Great American Beer Fest in Denver.
Right. We missed it this
year.
year.
Get there first. Yeah.
Well, we're going to miss it this year.
I can only imagine the type of audio gold that it would be listening to us talk for 16 days straight, slurring our words about beer and Oktoberfest in Germany.
I'd probably go through all of the recordings and save about, 42 minutes.
And even then it would be crap.
Yeah, even then it's garbage. So,
I mean, we'll probably end up recording our first mug break, where we shatter the steins and we smack them against each other.
Yeah. They're like, oh no, what happened?
Your first hospital visit when you inevitably step on to that broken shard of glass and have it shoved into your foot.
Yep.
I think in your mind, Todd, breaking steins is a much bigger part of Oktoberfest than it really is.
I think it happens a lot.
This is the second time you mentioned it. No, these are pretty beefy glasses. I don't think so.
These guys, they smack those glasses together every time they get more beer.
Yeah, I guess that's true. If you've been to Oktoberfest, let us know how much shards of glass there are around.
Also, how's the party? But primarily the shards of glass.
And I feel like some of the recordings we may have would be like us sleeping on the side of the road a lot.
It seems like it'd be a better visual medium than a podcast. We'll have to do a YouTube series.
I know. Yeah, we'll have to do that.
Hey, speaking of series, Obert, how goes Obert's Toilet Grim?
You know what? I'm waiting for the new roll. Okay. So once we get a new roll on there, I'll write the date and I'll start the journal.
There it is.
I was just going to ask, are you using 1-ply, 2-ply, or are we're going up to 6-ply toilet paper for this? Because that matters for the life of the roll. You
know how they got Scott's 1,000?
Yeah.
I got Scott's 10,000, baby.
Ooh.
I got the stuff you get in the public bathroom stalls.
My brother ordered me some of those and sent them here when we first moved in. So we had upstairs in our upstairs bathroom, we have the giant roll on the wall too.
Why? Why did your brother get you that?
I have no idea. But it's very useful. I mean, we never have to change the toilet paper up there. It's great.
It's very useful. You'd never believe how much I poop.
And so with that, it's time for everyone's favorite segment. It's time for our 3 handles on our Frosty Mug of Wisdom, where we pull it out of the top shelf of our freezer and each impart a third of a mug's worth of knowledge of things we like or love or put up with in our lives that we wanted to share with you guys. I have an Oktoberfest themed handle
Ooh.
And that's my tease as I hand it off to Tud, who's going to go first.
Oof. I can't wait. Tud, hurry up.
All right. So my handle this week is going to be an item that you can buy on Amazon. Amazon Basics sells camping chairs, and they are like $20. So unlike, other $20 camping chairs, these camping chairs are actually pretty sturdy. So I myself, as a larger human, bought the XL sized camping chair. And for Caitlin, I bought the normal size camping chair. Hers has a mesh back, so there's a lot of breathability for when she's sitting out in the sun. Mine, unfortunately, does not have a mesh back. But it's padded, so it's really comfortable.
For strangulation, Eddie.
Correct. All of the Amazon camping chairs have a 6-can cooler attached to the left arm.
Wow!
And
Why
they have a cup holder in the right arm.
Right. Wow, that is.
I like that.
I might have to jump on Amazon right now. Jeez.
Yeah.
And you said it was $20?
They're $20. So I will tell you this: as I've tried using this cooler. The cooler actually works pretty well. It will keep your beers pretty cold as you're sitting there drinking them in your brand new chair. They come in 3 colors: black, blue, and green. I recommend the blue. I think they look really well. They look really good.
2 blue ones?
We did get 2 blue ones.
Okay.
Partly because I didn't. Neither of us wanted a black one.
Yeah,
because
it's too much
we thought
of
it was going to be too much of the sun, and they were sold out of green ones when I ordered at the time.
Gotcha. Well, so important question here. This 6-pack cooler size, is that 6 12-ounce cans, 16-ounce cans, bottles? What are we talking here?
It will hold 6 16-ounce cans.
Good to know.
Wow.
Yes. Now, if you left one of those cans out and added in some ice, you could fit 5 and also keep them really cold.
Yeah. I guess that kind of makes sense. And then you have the chair over your shoulder, the 5 in there, and then you have your 6th beer you're walking to where you're putting your chair down in your hand already.
There you go.
Drinking. So that kind of makes sense.
And it also has like a side, like kind of like off to like the side of the bottom of the chair. It's got a nice little pouch so you can like stick your phone in or a book or something and hold it there too. So it's like the Mac Daddy of like camping chairs for $20.
Yeah, this is a handle for me. Absolutely. This is a handle I will probably use. Granted, in Montana, we got snow this weekend, so I don't think I'm going to be using a camping chair anytime soon. But
well, when you do, make sure you click on our Amazon link to go there.
I absolutely will do that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Yeah, I might have to buy one of these.
So with that, I guess we're building up to Obert's handle, so I will hand it off to Chris.
Okay. So mine is also kind of Oktoberfest related in a way, if you think about it.
As we fill up the mug, we get more and more Oktober. I mean, you could bring an Amazon Basic chair with you to Oktoberfest.
Listen,
right.
You need a place to sit as you're drinking.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And to hold your extra beer.
Now, I'm not saying everybody that goes to Oktoberfestapalooza is going to be able to use this, but the 3 men on this podcast can for sure. So recently I've been growing my beard out a little bit, and I just wanted to take some extra good care of it. So I went on and I bought Rapid Beard, which is just the brand. It's their
Hey, it's just the brand.
Just
guys.
the brand.
This is all natural.
All natural. Yeah, that's right. No supplements in this baby.
Miracle Grow here.
Yeah. Now all I'm thinking about is Beard Miracle Grow.
No, it's not that, but it's Beard Miracle softness stuff. But it's I bought their beard wash and beard conditioner because before I was just using whatever I put in my hair, and then I looked online and they were like, "Don't do that," and I was like, "Ah, crap." Apparently, I don't know how to beard. I've only had one for, 20 years. So
for most of my life.
Right. But I went on and I bought these.
Came out of the womb with a beard.
Pretty much. I bought these 2. They smell good. They make my beard nice and manageable. I run my beard comb through it, and there's no more snagging or anything. Everything is nice and smooth. So beard's getting pretty long, and then of course treat it with the beard oil, the beard balm. But a big step up for me. People say, "Wow, your beard looks so amazing," et cetera, et cetera.
Well, that's what they used to say, and now they're just like speechless.
Now they don't say anything because I'm so handsome.
Now they're like, your beard's a miracle.
It's a miracle. But if you have a beard and you're not using a beard shampoo, beard conditioner yet, I would suggest it. I've been enjoying it so far.
I just want to jump in and say I stopped shaving my face because I thought it would make my life easier, and it has for sure. But I didn't realize when I got into this whole game that I was going to need, products, and it's true. I don't have anything. I was doing the Chris method of using the top of the head hair stuff for the bottom of the head hair.
Right.
And, maybe I will check this. Maybe I'll be going trifecta here and enjoying the full mug this week. These sound like products for me.
Ober, just one bit of advice, and maybe this alludes to a future handle that you may see pop up here. Have you ever gotten yourself a beard comb?
No, I have a head comb that I use on my face.
You don't want to do that.
Why is that?
Find out on next week's episode.
Okay, when I have a beard comb.
Yeah, the handles just become beard-centric stuff. So,
well, yeah, we all have beards now. It's
I know.
part of
Very
our lives.
bearded podcast.
Yeah. If I had a beard when we started recording, there's a good chance that our beard podcast wouldn't be called Drinking Alone with Friends. It would just be like
bearding alone with beards and bearded men beers.
We are beards.
Also beer.
A beer podcast.
The content remains exactly the same. You just know listening to it.
Right.
There's
exactly.
hair on the face covering the voices you're hearing.
If we get close enough to the microphone, can you hear my beard grow?
You know when they make the whale recordings of whale sounds?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah. It doesn't sound like that IRL. That's it sped up like 100 times because it's subsonic, the frequency. It's too low for human ears to hear. So maybe if we take your beard growing and record it maybe all night long and compress that down into 1 second, we'll be able to hear your beard grow.
I just imagine that my beard growing would sound like La Bamba. Ba-da-la-la-la Bamba.
But just 1 second of that?
No, it just plays the whole song on repeat.
Okay.
In 1 second.
Oh
all right, so I think the anticipation is built high enough for topping off this mug.
Yeah, what is this ultimate Oktoberfest themed handle?
So I was feeling extra creative, and I sent you guys a picture of my beer this week, and in it you'll notice I have some homemade pretzels.
Oh,
and I wanted to share a pretzel recipe with you guys. It's basically a typical bread recipe where you just have, yeast, flour, sugar, salt. Let that do its yeasting thing. We like yeast on this podcast for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You let that rise, and then you roll it out into long stringy things, tie it in a knot, and you drop it into boiling water with baking soda for 30 seconds. And that, I didn't realize it, but I'm like, oh, that's immediately what gives it that pretzel taste. And then you throw it in the oven, bake it up, and, I did poppy seed, I did sea salt, I did cheese, do whatever you want. And that's how I decided to enjoy my Oktoberfest beer last night. And super easy to do, especially on a nice, cool fall day here in Montana. Keep the house warm with that oven going.
Well, or in pure Montana fashion, right in the middle of a blizzard.
Yeah, that too. Absolutely. I'm like, it's going to be too gross to do anything outside. I'm making myself some pretzels, having an Oktoberfest beer. And they went really well together. I didn't grind the mustard or anything, but dipped it in some mustard. It's really good. So I will share the exact proportions of the recipe in the show notes. But really easy to do, especially if you have a stand mixer. I don't. I just mixed it by hand, but it wasn't that hard at all.
Everything sounds great about that except for the hand mixing. If you don't have a KitchenAid, do yourself a favor. Buy yourself a KitchenAid.
It's some people like to get their arm workouts by holding it out for 6 minutes. I like to get my arm workout by just stirring up some flour with some water.
I only did it with one arm, so one arm's going to be jacked and one arm's going to be puny and small.
Yeah. So I don't have a stand mixer. I assume both of you guys do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. I love it.
Yeah.
I got it for a wedding. It was amazing.
All you need is a 99-cent packet of yeast you get at the grocery store. So
nice.
That's it. As long as you have a baking sheet and a bowl and an oven, you can do it all. That's all you
awesome.
really needed. Yeah.
Gonna be on the Great British Bake Off soon.
Maybe the Great German Bake Off.
There you go. Yeah,
Ooh.
you'll nail
Yeah.
Pretzel Week. That's for sure.
I feel like
This is my
for
pretzel.
for future Oktoberfestapaloozas, we need to have a pretzel making contest.
I like that idea, but the logistics of comparing them, I think, might be challenging.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
we're talking about when we have like our centrally located
Oh, when
official
we're in
Oktoberfestapalooza party.
Oh,
when we're
yeah. So
we're still in Germany after Oktoberfest.
right.
When we host our Oktoberfestapalooza.
Oktoberfestapalooza 2020. Book it.
I'd like all our listeners to be aware. Oktoberfestapalooza is not happening in Germany. It's happening in a much better location for beer.
Little Germany in New York. I'm assuming they have a little Germany there.
We're gonna put it smack dab in the middle of the United States, so all the breweries of the country can show up.
Maybe they'd be like Kinder German, would be how you would say it. I don't know.
There you go. Kinder Deutschland.
It's gonna be in Iowa.
Yes, because when we think of middle of the country, we think of Iowa.
I don't know. It's the first one I thought of. It's probably
I thought of
close.
What's the movie where JTT has to get home for Christmas? I'll be home for Christmas.
Is that him?
I think so. Anyway, he goes through a German.
It's a very
town.
original movie. Was he trying to get home for Christmas?
Home Alone.
I think so. Yeah, like a little German town. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll go in Pennsylvania Dutch something. I don't know.
We'll get it.
There is a little German town in Texas called Fredericksburg, I believe.
Book
Hang on.
it.
Book the town.
Nope.
One
Nope.
Fredericksburg, please.
Fredericksburg's in Pennsylvania.
Can I get that on Hotels.com?
FRE. Oh yeah, here it's showing up.
Fredericksburg. Oh, it's kind of expensive, guys.
No cancellation fee though.
No
you should just
cancellation
book it
fee.
now,
And
and
it's
then we'll
$450 a night. I don't know.
see. Yeah.
That's oddly expensive yet cheap. I don't know. It's
Oh no, there is a Fredericksburg in Texas. Yeah, there we go. Fredericksburg, Texas. That's where we're having it.
Okay.
okay. There we go.
Dates to follow.
Yeah. TBD.
It starts October 4th, 2020.
Okay. That's right. It'll be a Saturday.
And it will run for 16 days.
Oktoberfest. We should make Oktoberfestapalooza run from the end of Oktoberfest to the beginning of the next Oktoberfest. It's always
Ooh.
Oktoberfestapalooza.
The world-renowned
Yeah,
party.
I like that.
Yeah.
And so with that, thank you all for listening. We'd like to thank the breweries that provided today's beers, and I will go first with thanking Jack's Abbey for their Copper Legend Oktoberfest Lager.
I would like to thank Fourth Creek Brewing Company here in Statesville for their Balloon Fest lager.
And I'm going to thank Bayern Brewery for their Oktoberfest.
Please go on all social media and follow us at DAWF Podcast. That's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Untapped. Also, follow the email at dawfpodcast@gmail.com. Please go on to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating and leave a comment. We love to read those. Make sure that you guys are using our Amazon affiliate links. Go on and buy those Amazon chairs that we just talked about and the Miracle Beard Grow Cream that Chris was trying to hawk you guys to make sure that you guys are all nice and hairy for them.
That's right.
And also use it to buy all the ingredients to make the pretzels that Obert was talking about. I mean, how can you go wrong there? You can order everything today and it'll be there by Saturday. That's one hell of a Saturday.
Good Saturday.
This podcast is brought to you by Amazon Prime.
Yeah, and also make sure you guys are going to our Patreon and subscribing. We have a lot of original content up there.
Even today, we talked about how Bayern is one of the most sustainable breweries in Montana and a fun recycling story from Tud. And that's available exclusively to our Patreon supporters. So thank you.
And don't forget to go on there and pay that $25 so we can all watch Chris try to drink a whole can of Bud Light and Clamato live for you in person on Skype.
Yeah, if you ever wanted to hang out with us, then that's the way to do it, I guess. So,
Because some of us, we feel like we're still in kindergarten. So pay us money and we will drink gross stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in here too and kind of like throw one more thing out there. It's getting harder and harder as many beers as there are to find new beers that I want to highlight or that we want to highlight. So if you have one in particular that you want to hear us drink, send an email, shoot it over to us because we'd like to give you a shout out and also try new beers. So, I mean,
And also mail us the beer.
you could do that too, but I mean, I'm not saying that.
Ted, you did this last time Chris asked for recommendations.
Send us beer, please. No, but if you know of one that's in our area, let us know, and we'll try and hunt it down and give you proper props on the show. So,
or just stick it in the mail, send it to us,
or that, I guess.
And so with that, my name is Tud.
My name's Chris,
and I'm Obert. And remember, if you're drinking alone, do it with friends.
Prost, everybody.
Prost.
Yeah, Prost.
So can I put my arm down now? It's been like 50 minutes.
How much is your show?
Well, it started in Bavaria a long time ago. When Ludwig and Teresa, they got married, what a show. Now Ludwig was a prince, soon to wear his kingdom's crown. Rosie was his queen of hearts, the talk of Munich town. Ludwig told his Rosie, babe, let's have a ball. Let's have a Wiesn party and we'll welcome one and all. It happened in October, that's how it got its name. The year was 1810 and